Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 2 of my favorite 31 debut albums of all time. The top debuts, the influential, the kick-ass, the groundbreaking, the killer debut albums where a band or artist knocks it out of the park right from that very, very first album. Maybe they never achieve those highs ever again in follow-up albums, right? But still, that debut, that's the one, right? That's so good. Hard to pick just 31, but we've only got 31 days in the month. There's a lot of great debuts that didn't quite make the cut that I really like a lot, that I really love a lot. Right? We may cover some of those tomorrow as honorable mentions, right? But and it's amazing how many like really great bands and artists. That first album really wasn't all that good, right? They didn't really find their footing till an album or two, or maybe even 3 later, right? That happens too. So a lot of great bands that we all know and love don't really get mentioned this month because that debut, it was no big deal, right? But these bands, these artists that we're talking about, absolutely the real deal, right out of the gate. Today for pick number 2, one of the great debuts in all of rock history, released August 25th, 1976. Produced at Foxglove Studios, Capitol Studios, and the Record Plant, Los Angeles, Hollywood, and Watertown. Produced by John Boylan and Tom Scholz for Epic Records. That's right, talking about Boston, self-titled debut. Yeah, that iconic album cover, right? I mean, who doesn't love this album? I don't know if I've ever come across anybody who didn't like this album, or at least love parts of it or whatever. I guess some people may be kind of indifferent to it because it's, for some, this is one of the most, overplayed albums in rock history. So many of the songs still played to death on classic rock radio. But I got to tell you, this is one of those albums that I've heard. I bought this, or my parents bought it for me. I don't even remember. At this point, it doesn't really matter because it's a long time ago. I acquired this shortly after it came out. And when I was just a kid, 10 years old, 11 years old. And I've probably heard this more than any other album I own in my lifetime. And you hear all the songs still on satellite radio, rock radio, FM rock radio, whatever. And I never get tired of anything on this album. It still sounds, I can still listen to it start to finish today, and it still sounds fresh and exciting. I don't know what it is about it. They're just great songs. The production is great. The guitar playing is great. That voice, so good. I mean, this is just a killer album where the stars aligned instantly for this band, right? Of course, Tom Scholz on lead and rhythm guitars, acoustic guitars, special effects guitars, plays a little bass on here, right? Brad Delp leading harmony vocals, plays a little acoustic guitar, 12-string guitar, rhythm guitar. Barry Goudreau leading rhythm guitar, plays guitar solos on a couple tracks. Fran Sheehan, bass, and Sib Hashian, drums and percussion. So what do we have on this killer album? Well, of course, almost every song is iconic, right? More Than a Feeling kicks it off. That's the big song from this album. It was never my favorite song from the album, however. It is a great song. Great riff, great textures, great production, so good. And man, that soaring vocal. I mean, Brad was such an original singer. One of the greats from this era. Peace of Mind. So good. So good. Peace of Mind is probably my favorite song on the album. It's just, and the chorus is so great. The thunderous riff that comes into the chorus. Take a look ahead. Just so good. Foreplay, leading into Long Time, right? That's the little kind of mini epic on the album. About 8 minutes long. Foreplay. Tom showing off his keyboard skills. Did I mention that he plays keyboards on this album? I don't know if I mentioned that. But yeah, he plays organ and clarinet on this album. He's really good Hammond organ player, actually. And Foreplay, he's doing some, it's kind of like the proggy song on here, doing some cool stuff, and that leads into Long Time. Long Time is great, too. Killer guitar solos on Long Time from Barry Goudreau. So good. Over on side 2, you got Rock and Roll Band. Rock and Roll Band and Smokin' lead off side 2. Both hard charging, hard rock boogie. Awesome. Killer riffs, killer solos, great vocals. Then, of course, you got Hitch a Ride. That's more of kind of like the mellow, kind of almost ballad type track on here. Another great solo on it as well, and a great vocal from Brad. Something About You, to me, that is probably the hidden gem on the album. Something About You is just so heavy And again, another fantastic vocal from Brad Delp. And then Let Me Take You Home Tonight finishes it all off. Again, more of kind of like a soulful kind of pop ballad, right? You got the two mellower tracks on here. The rest are all kick-ass rockers. Great stuff. Great stuff. Let's take a look at the charts. Australia, number 16. Canada, number 7. Dutch charts, number 11. Finland, number 20. Germany, number 4. Japan, number 24. New Zealand, 26. Swedish charts, number 16. Swiss charts, number 3. UK album charts, number 11. And here in the States, this made it to number 3. That's right. And then, of course, with various reissues. What year did this one come out here? It's 2006, my reissue. But it's popped back on the Canadian charts in 2016, UK charts in 1998, 2020, the US top rock albums charts popped back in at number 13. Just, this album just never goes away. Certifications Canada Diamond, 1 million copies sold. It's a lot for Canada, right? You don't often see that. That's UK Gold, 100,000 units sold. And here in the States, 17 times platinum, 17 million copies sold here in the States to date. Crazy. That's a lot of albums. Basically, Tom probably never needed to work again after this album. But More Than a Feeling, released as a single September 1976, about a month after the album's release. Long Time, released January 77, and Peace of Mind, April 1977. And like I said, basically, still played on the radio. I mean, not that I listen to the radio all that much, but I do listen to Sirius once in a while, and occasionally I'll put on FM Rock Radio, local channel here. But More Than a Feeling, obviously. Peace of Mind, obviously. Foreplay, Long Time, obviously. Rock and Roll Band you can still hear. Smoking you can still hear. Mainly those are the songs that have gotten played on the rock radio over the years. But yeah, it's just start to finish, so good. So that is my pick for today. Boston, self-titled debut at number 2. Can you guess what's coming up at number 1? Can anybody guess? Because some of you were probably like, okay, well, he picked Boston. I thought that was going to be his number 1. He already picked Black Sabbath. He picked Van Halen. He picked Led Zeppelin. What else could be at number 1? Pete, what could you possibly have at number 1? Well, if you really think about what hasn't been mentioned so far this month. Because my number 1... it's one of the great debuts of all time, if not the greatest debut of all time. It's also one of the most influential albums of all time for a lot of reasons, and it introduced a guy to the world, and he was, of course, put on a pedestal pretty quickly, and for just a few short years, he was the shit. So, but that debut album, man, so important to so many different kinds of music. Musical styles and things like that. So that's coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options all down below. Stay tuned for new album reviews today on this Wednesday. And we'll see you tomorrow for number 1. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.